Yeah.
You still remember the days you playing in Lynx in 2008?
Long time ago.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Well, you want
Yeah.
to kick us off?
Sure. Coach, I wanted to ask about the way your team plays on the road and the way it's been able to kind of stack wins away from Climate Pledge Arena and just what you're seeing from this team and the way they've been able, especially on this road trip to, really just try and, be successful away from home.
Yeah, it's just resiliency, an urgency that we have to have. I think on the road, it's, the focus is tunnel vision on the goal at hand. Not saying it's not like that at home, but we've had some tough games at home, those one possession ones, and where we're kind of in that juncture of our season, just not being able to get over the hump. And on the road, we've found some good success, like early in first quarters, getting out and not allowing the atmosphere or the crowd to interrupt what we're trying to do. And then, we got to be road warriors and rally. When you're on the road, you lock into one another, and that's all you got.
Coach, when your team has had success against Minnesota, the starting five has been across the board good at sharing the ball and distributing and scoring the ball. What does it kind of take, do you think, to get the rhythm of all five of those starting rolling?
Yeah, Minnesota is obviously the number one defense for a reason. They're very disruptive. They know what's coming. They pressure the ball and they take away our strengths. And so you have to be very intentional about your cuts, your movements, and physical with your screening in order to, create a cut, get open, and really be fundamental. And where we found some success is just kind of playing early in transition before they're set. We know that they pack the paint, heavy nail, low man presence, all those things that make the court shrink. And so when we get to the second side, it's about having sharp cuts, getting to next actions and being good having good screen angles because we know they're going under, things like that. So honestly, just being fundamental and just again intentional about our attack.
I have a question. When did you first want to become a coach? When we started thinking about that? Was that something that's always kind of been in you, or did you sort of that come along the way?
No, yeah, it came along the way.
Yeah.
Never, sometimes my coaches will say, I play the game like a coach. Being here in Minnesota, my first years when I completely transitioned over to playing point guard. And later on in my career, just having an opportunity to some things that people always saw within me that I didn't see within myself.
And just to follow up on that, like anyone who's met you, I mean, I think would probably say like you're the nicest person
Thank
I've
you.
ever met. Soft spoken and just but really great game. But do you have to get to a fiery side at times when your team's not performing and a message needs to be sent?
Yeah, I mean, quiet doesn't mean lack of competitive spirit. It's a desire, a drive, a passion that I do have for coaching in this game that does come out in those moments. And, I try to present a calm spirit posture so that my team, doesn't waver, doesn't see their leader wavering. And that's kind of like my baseline. But obviously the game, again, a competitor. The fire comes out when it needs to, for sure. Yeah.
All right, we're gonna take a couple questions from Zoom. Percy, go ahead.
Hey, Coach. After the last game, energy level was a hot topic. So just heading into your final game of this long road trip, playing your 40th game of the season, what are you expecting from your team in terms of energy, and just how important is that first quarter going to be?
Yeah, it's very important, especially being on the road against Minnesota. Their crowd is impactful. They play well at home. Their threes can be so loud. And so, the energy that you have to have against a team like this or just on the road in general is very important to make sure our mindset is correct to come out with that because, if not, it will be a long night for us.
All right, Jeff, you're up.
Yeah, coach. I know Ezzy is your defensive anchor, but when I kind of look at some of her, shooting field goal percentage, it'll be like 60%, 80%, but it might just be 4 of 5 from the floor. Do you need to kind of get her into more offensive actions or just encourage her to, stay more aggressive?
Yeah, I think a lot of what's happening too is a lot of teams are loading up off of her. And so I've encouraged her to be in more screening action. That action is impactful when we're playing with pace and kind of in early flow for her to get the easy baskets around the rim because there's a load up, as he's open a lot of times at the three. And so kind of trying to find some balance of like taking that three or getting to next action and becoming, a playmaker or a really positive screener for the screen assist or just, executing the play and finishing. A lot of the actions that she gets when she's shooting that high percentage is dynamic cuts, again, coming off screening, early offense and early flow. And so when we talk about energy and pace, this is one part of the game that really impacts, the net positivity that Ezzy can bring because of, these particular actions create some offense for her. So when we get in a half court, a little bit more difficult when teams are loading up, taking away, and kind of coming off of her. So the encouragement is for our entire group to play with some pace because that helps not only Ezzy, it helps Gabby, it helps Slim, it helps us to generate some easier points.
All right, Christian, go ahead.
Hey, coach. After the last game, speaking with Nneka about the team's defense, she said the team's kind of first priority is point of attack, and then kind of switching is a emergency thing. Kind of down the stretch of these last, 5 or 7-ish games, do you feel like the switching has become more of a main focus in the third and fourth quarter? Because sometimes it works and sometimes it isn't. It gets different matchups depending on what it's called for. Just kind of wondering what you're seeing on the court and how it's working or not.
Yeah, switching within our defense is more of an emergency. We don't switch a lot. So when you see us switching, that is, not getting through screens and trying to prevent downhill attack. So, for us, when Nneka is talking about point of attack, I think it does start on the ball. We have to get into bodies. We have to be up to touch as post players to kind of prevent, the players that we have been playing, the matchups that we have been playing the guards are very potent off of ball screens, but then you have to worry about, the post players rolling and things like that. So we got to take care of guarding 2 with 2. And if you see us switching, a lot of times that's just, us kind of going second or third layer defense. So trying not to do that, but we have to be a lot more physical at the point.
Thank
Okay,
you.
final question. We'll go back to Jeff.
Yeah, coach. Obviously winning is the highest priority, especially right now, but is there some benefit to the fact that Collier is back with them because it maybe gives you a better, I guess, evaluation because you could see them in the first round of the playoffs?
I'm not sure. I think no matter who's on the court for Minnesota, as we saw, they're still a very good team. They played well without her, and obviously they're the number one team with her. And we've played Minnesota for a variety of different, times early and now late. And so I think, the evaluation comes with, watching the film and understanding who they are. And if you really think about it, they don't really change much. The offense that they run, how they run it, and their roster has changed a little bit since the last time that we've played them. But their sets are the same. We know what's coming. Defensively, we know, they're loading up and they're very physical and they deny. So I think they are who they are, and the evaluation is, pretty clear because they've been very consistent all season. But playing them at this part of the season, yeah, it can give us some more reps and understanding of how they're playing this late.
Thanks, Coach.
Yeah.